Hi there everyone and welcome once again to the Train Aid HQ. My name is Nick and in today's teaching video we are looking at the importance of ground rules within teaching and training. So we're going to be looking at what this key term means, ground rules. We're also going to understand how to make your own classroom ground rules, and we're going to establish how you can keep those as a teacher as well. So before we get started, we're going to explain what are ground rules. So if you are teaching perhaps a one-day course or a year-long course, ground rules are so important as teachers and trainers. Now, what do they mean? So ground rules are a joint agreement between yourself, the teacher or trainer, and your class on the expectations and the rules that are going to govern your classroom as well. So the great thing about ground rules is that they are a joint contract between yourself and your learners. So it promotes trust, it promotes mutual respect and an understanding of what is acceptable and what's not acceptable within the classroom as well. Now, it's very important that ground rules are written down for all to see. So these ground rules can be written on perhaps a flip chart paper like this, or perhaps on a whiteboard and presented on the classroom wall as well. So it's very important that these ground rules are visible for all of your learners to see, and they are a reminder of how learners need to behave within the classroom as well. So ground rules are created by the teacher and also the learners as well. So it's a joint contract. So it's very, very powerful and should be done at the start of perhaps a new class or a new term or a new academic year. So the good thing about ground rules is it makes everyone aware of how they should behave within that classroom environment. Okay, now just a very important reminder, okay, learners do not have free rein. They cannot come up with all of the rules. We must have some compulsory rules. Now these are the organisation's rules as well, okay. So some of the things which are the non-negotiable rules are health and safety. So it's very key that we reiterate these compulsory rules. So things such as health and safety, first aid, the fire evacuation point. So it's your responsibility, your duty as a teacher or trainer is to reinforce these. So learners do not have a say within those, okay? So it's very important we let learners know about the health and safety, the groundkeeping, the housekeeping rules, when breaks are, all of those fine and important things as well. So learners do not have a say within those. Also, some compulsory rules, the organisation rules, are things such as no discrimination, equality and diversity, respect for all learners. Those are the non-negotiable rules. And it's very important that we, along with our colleagues within our teaching organisation, we do establish those straight from the outset, that any discrimination is going to be dealt with very seriously as well. So those are the types of rules that we have to reinforce as teachers and trainers. And finally, timekeeping as well. So it's very, very important that our learners do arrive to class on time, that they're not late, they're not going to miss out on any content as well. Okay, so it's very important when you are teaching your full qualification. There's no gaps left within the knowledge of learners, and timekeeping is crucial. So it's non-negotiable. So these are the rules that I will reinforce at the very start of my courses, at the very start of my classes, and these are the compulsory rules. So yes, ground rules, which we'll come on to in a moment, are important, but you as a teacher do need to reinforce those compulsory or those organisation rules. Okay. Now let's get on to the ground rules, okay? So these are the rules that you and your learners set as a group, and once again, this is your classroom contract. So it's very much a blank canvas. And the good thing is that you can put it out there to your learners. After the compulsory rules, you've mentioned those. These are the classroom rules, okay? So what things are expected within our classroom ground rules. And you can do this in many different ways. You could say, right class, you've got 5 minutes to come up with your ground rules. You can discuss these as a group, or you could get your learners just to perhaps come up to the board one by one, and they could write their different ground rules as well. So everyone has got a rule that they need to come up with as well. So what are the types of rules we are expecting for learners to list? Okay, so this could be to listen to all classmates. Okay. So one of the key rules that you might find learners discuss, they need to listen to each other. So if one learner is talking, everyone needs to listen to that learner and respect their viewpoints as well. So that is very, very crucial. So it's very important that hopefully learners will say, right, we're going to listen to one another as well. Another key aspect is teamwork. Okay, so teamwork is very common. It's key within paired work, group work as well. It creates a team network, a hard-working ethos. So hopefully with these classroom ground rules, we are expecting to see those different types of rules there. Some further rules is obviously, just going back, is to respect each other. Okay, we might have different opinions within the classroom. Okay, learners have different likes, dislikes, they have different opinions, and that's absolutely fine. It causes discussions, healthy debates, that's absolutely fine. But at the end of the lesson, we draw a line under what's been discussed, okay, and we go again. The next lesson is something new, okay, a new topic. So we need to respect each other, we need to get along, and therefore we need to respect each other, we need to respect each other's opinions as well. So those are the types of rules that are going to form part of this important ground rules list. Okay. So another key rule which learners might explain, they might have on their ground rules list, is to respect the equipment as well. So within teaching and training, equipment is expensive to replace. It's very important that as teachers and also learners, they understand that it does cost a lot of money for teaching resources. So hopefully we can respect the equipment used and also to respect the environment as well. So it's very important for learners to hopefully to recognise that equipment is going to be respected as well. Okay. Okay, another key aspect of ground rules is plagiarism. Okay, so learners hopefully will recognise is what they are producing, their own work is their own. Okay, and therefore no copying, no cheating is going to take place. Very important with coursework qualifications as well. So hopefully learners they do say that, there's going to be no sort of plagiarism, there's going to be no cheating. Of course, you can help each other out and listen to each other, going back to that teamwork point there. But essentially, there's going to be no sort of formal plagiarism or cheating there. So yes, it is one of our compulsory rules that you can of course reinforce, but hopefully learners do say about that in terms of their ground rules there as well. Okay, different rules, okay, we can put on there. Once again, it can be So once again, it can be timekeeping and breaks, okay? So once again, that is a compulsory rule, but also learners can obviously mention about the importance of timekeeping with their coursework and handing in work on time, as in deadlines, okay? So we are going to make sure that we are going to be working to our own with our own coursework, okay? So handing work in on time for the teacher to hand in to be marked as well, okay? Another key one could be mobile phones. So with mobile phones, obviously those can be used within the classroom, but learners, where they can obviously put these within their bags as well. So we really need to come up with the rules of whether mobile phones are going to be used as a teaching resource, or whether we say to learners, okay, everyone turn your mobile phone off and put them into your bags for the duration of the lesson. So hopefully that is going to be used within the ground rules as well, okay? So those are just some classroom rules, okay? So once the ground rules have been established after those 5 or 10 minutes, what is very important is to get your learners to sign the flip chart paper, okay? So this is where everyone will come to the board, they'll write their name, and therefore this is going to be put onto the wall. That is our contract, and we also have our rules as well, okay? So it's very important you get your learners to sign this agreement here, okay? And as mentioned, it might be a one-day course or a year-long course, but they've got that agreement there. So what you can do, if you wish, is you can type up your ground rules if you wanted to. You can publish the signed declaration or agreement, but it's very important that we do get a signature or the name of the learner, because that is stating I do understand these rules as well. So that is just something that I would recommend. You can laminate your rules as well. Now, the last little bit of advice I have to give you with regards to ground rules is the teacher ground rules as well. Now, many teachers do say to their learners, okay, now we've established our ground rules. Now, what are the teacher ground rules? So in other words, what rules can I follow as your teacher? Now, this does get learners a little bit flustered or perhaps confused a little bit, but what you can say to your class, okay, is as your teacher, as your trainer, what do you expect of me? Okay, what rules can I follow? Okay, now this is very, very interesting because it does render quite a few different results. So quite common, you will find that key things is to make lessons interesting. Okay, so once again, you could get your learners to come to the board and write the teacher rules on there. So make lessons interesting. So no two lessons are the same. Perhaps for the teacher to use a variety of different resources to keep that lesson interesting and varied as well. Okay, try this approach. Trust me, I think you'll have a fantastic buy-in, and the learners will respect you for following some rules as well. Another key teacher ground rule that you'll find your learners inform you of is to mark work on time, okay? So it might be that your learners say, okay, you as the teacher need to provide me with written feedback. You need to mark my work on time. So you might have a marking policy within your organisation. So it's very important that you follow that. You could be the most enthusiastic teacher in the world, of course, the most motivated one, but you need to follow through with your marking and written feedback as well. So giving that written feedback. So once again, another key factor is to be a supportive teacher. So learners might have had previous difficult or bad experiences of learning. So you as a teacher need to be supportive. You need to be a motivator as well. So that is quite a common teacher rule where learners will say, I want you to be supportive. I want you to help me as much as possible as well. Okay, so hopefully these rules, okay, are going to start coming through, and they're there to break the ice as well. So your learners are going to open up, okay. A few other things as well, which might be on there. It could be to ask questions, okay. So you know, your learners might say, I would like for you as my teacher to ask questions, okay? So you're checking in with your learners, you're caring for their progress, you're asking questions to test their knowledge, okay, to make sure that they're on the right track, lots of formative feedback there. And also you are showing that, you know, you've got an interest as well, okay? Another key factor, just going back to timekeeping and punctuality, is to start lessons on time. So your learners might say, right, you as a teacher, you need to start lessons on time. You need to have perhaps an icebreaker or a starter activity, something which is going to engage the class, which isn't going to be boring, okay? So that is going to be key there. That could be another one of your teacher rules as well, okay? So it's very important as teachers, we are role models, we set the scene, and we're there on time as well, okay? And one thing that you need to do as a teacher when you come up with your teacher rules is you need to sign and date as well, okay? So we are going to practice what we preach. We have our ground rules, and I, the teacher, will need to sign and date as well. And therefore, these are my teacher ground rules. There might be many more, of course, but this can go on the wall as well, okay? Once again, if it's a day course or a year-long course, you can laminate your classroom rules, of course. But therefore, you have, yes, your ground rules, but you also have your teacher rules as well, okay? Do try it. It's incredibly powerful, and I think your learners will respect you for coming up with these ground rules as well, okay? So just to reiterate, just to recap then, ground rules are imperative for obviously behaviour management and creating that positive teaching atmosphere. It's a joint agreement with you and your learners, and it promotes that mutual respect and trust for each other, and make sure these are written down for all to see. So don't forget, yes, your compulsory or your organisation rules to reinforce them, but make sure that you are giving your learners the opportunity to come up with some agreed ground rules as well. Okay, hopefully this video has been very useful with establishing ground rules, what they mean, how to reinforce them. And once again, if a learner does break a ground rule, we can highlight that on our wall if it's there and present for all to see. Okay, so thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video. Please do like the video and subscribe, and if there's any videos you'd like for me to record and publish, please let me know. Please reach out to us. Okay, bye for now. Thank you for watching.